I get it, guys, this isn't what you wanted to see on a man's channel. I know woman is like a fidget spinner long past the hype, but today we'll imagine a situation where each of us is a straight guy who will kind of cares. The bad news is that interacting with women is a complicated process. First they smile at you, put a hand on your leg, whisper in your ear that they love you. And when you decide to kiss them, they jump in a horror, flailing their arms around in a circle. They say, "What are you doing? We're just friends. You almost kissed me just now. How are you not ashamed, you nasty girl?" And she isn't ashamed, because in her head, you always just been a so-called friend to talk to, but your brain, twisted beyond reason, interpreted it all as consent. Poor guy. Welcome to the world where I'll pull back the veil of secret for you. Harry Potter is garbage that people eat. Alright, veil lifted. Back to the topic. I had a couple of friends who understood women's language, so poorly that at times I was surprised how they even managed to survive near their own mothers. She says, "Don't eat that," and they stuff the dirt into their cheeks anyway. Not kids, mutants, I swear. The situation is absurd. Handsome guys with housing that send stacks of cash and they don't know how to interact with girls at all. It reached the point of absurdity where a woman's hint was automatically interpreted as a joke, with the whole discussion shift into humor instead of hot night territory. Somewhere deep down they understood the stories, the vibes, the signals, but because the feeling of rising sexual tension in their air was new to them. Instead of escalating those fluid hints. The clown reacted it all as a joke because physiologically they weren't ready for the heightened sexual tension in the dialogue. I used to not understand where such dudes came from, and then as it turns out, in their teenage years, instead of hanging out with questionable women they imagined they studied, it worked. While degenerates like me were messing around with all kinds of chicks, their guys were laying the foundation of their successful success. Now the foundation is solid, stable job, cash in pocket, but deep down I think our God knows exactly when and to whom we're attractive. And it's not even just about sexual relationships, it's about all human interaction in general. Our brain automatically recognizes hostility or good vibes is a useful survival skill. When some pupan enters your tribe and raises his eyebrow weirdly, boom, stone him to death. Animal instincts, gut feeling, intuition call in what you want. To me, as a psycho, that's how it works. Intuition is subconscious scanning of a situation. Your brain processes it on the reptilian level, analyzing thousands of micro-reactions, then dumps a bunch of hormones into your bloodstream and that forms your behavior. Should we be nervous, happy, aroused, or God forbid, want sex? You know, there are people who seem friendly, who talk to everyone, but give off weirdly negative vibes. Even though the person hasn't done anything wrong, they radiate the imposter vibe. You know what I mean. Most likely this person is just fake in their actions and reactions. And it shows not through actions but through those damn micro expressions, gestures, body language. Our brain picks it up but doesn't explain it to us, and so we feel off about someone who seems fine. Your posture, your expressions, your words scream it, "We don't like you. Get out of here, fake and probably bad person." That's the kind of stuff that happens in your brain in a fraction of a second. Back in my childhood I read Paul Ekman, yeah, so I am a bit obsessed with this stuff. Of course, like with any book, don't take it all as gospel. He will mess up all the time, even fancy physiologists. So if you read his stuff, take it not as some kind of perfect manual, but more as a cool way to expand your outlook on relationships and emotions. Why do I recommend it? Like I said, we read most micro-reactions automatically, and our opinion isn't formed by our conscious self, but by the subconscious. We don't know exactly why we react to someone a certain way. We just feel comfortable or uncomfortable. Paul Ekman's book breaks down hundreds of these micro-reactions and show what specific emotion someone is experiencing. Give you insight into why a certain type of person repulses you. And what does this have to do with women? Well, the same thing, it helps you understand positive reactions too, not just negative ones. If you read this stuff, you'll feel like you already know everything, and you do, but knowing is not the same as being aware. When the info is structured for you, you can start analyzing these reactions not just subconsciously, but consciously, and that's powerful. And here, obviously, the reptilian brain doesn't really do that. I just say it like that for effect effect, you get me. Alright, that's the end of the brainy part. Now let's move to real life feelings, speculations, the stuff that varies from person to person. I'll generalize because that's easier for me. Of course, it won't apply to everyone, okay? Okay, back to the topic of the video. From my experience, women rarely say anything directly, especially when it comes to who they like, and definitely not to the actual object of their affection. It's all in the hints, the look, the body language, the subtle stuff you have to decode. Likely, most of these hints are as subtle as a cooked sausage stick. They don't even come from her as a person, they come from her body language. To me, the biggest and the clearest signal, 99% reliable, is when a woman just stares at you, burns holes in you with her eyes, like an oil drill, I swear. The thing is, we like to look at the object of our affection, but there is a problem staring non-stop as someone is kinda creepy. Still, the urge to look remains. To someone who's into you will try to look at you as often as possible within socially acceptable limits. For example, as soon as the boy looks away, she knows he can't see her, so she starts checking him out. He turns back and boom! Your eyes are already on the bottle of Schweppes like, haha, yeah, I totally wasn't staring at you just now, loser. Even though she totally was. Like, please father my children already. Now you might responsibly ask, okay, that's all fine in a group, she looks at me more than others, I get it. But what do I do when it's just the two of us? Here's the deal, if someone doesn't give a damn about you, they'll make eye contact as little as possible, like it's physically painful. When you speak to them, it's like they are trying to channel the power of the gods just to understand your words, even if she's being all flirty. So women just talk like that, that's their communication style. So body reactions are more telling. The mouth spews nonsense, but the eyes speak truth. Confucius said that, by the way. Another fat clue, she wants to touch your balls. Okay, your arms, legs, shoulders, back, any movement that involves contact with your body. If a woman passes by and doesn't need to touch you, she won't. But if she likes you even a little, she'll touch you. Especially when the situation doesn't require physical contact. Third thing, when you're near her or looking at her, she straightens her posture, fixes her hair, even though she doesn't do that around others. When the object of your lust is near, your hand just goes to the hair. You sit up straighter naturally. Doesn't always mean sexual vibes though. Sometimes people just want to look good to others, no hidden meaning. Fourth, I'd call this a mime signal. When you crack a joke and she loses her damn mind laughing, other people might smirk, but she's wiping snot on the pavement. Another method, some women having read too many romance novels will bend over all slow and sexy to pick something up. Or in situations where they have to learn down, they'll do it exaggeratedly flirty. Honestly, it's a kind of dumb and not worth overanalyzing. For real, judging solely by body positions is peak nonsense. Some poses aren't about emotions or mistrust, they're just habits, default behaviors. I'm not saying all body language stuff is crap. Some studies do support that poses reflect psycho-emotional states, but not always. Don't confuse it. From the body we can move to the brain and to regular language. Dialogue itself can be an indicator of psychical interest, random questions out of nowhere, trying to fill silence with anything, so that you, the object of your obsessions, don't get bored. Usually this works in reverse when a guy is into a girl. He is the one dancing around nervously, but girls do it too. Sometimes the way they try to start conversations is hilariously stupid. You're sitting there thinking, God, just shut up already, you're embarrassing yourself. But hormones, they do their thing. And of course the obvious direct flirting. Can't leave that out. Trust me, there are tons of guys who miss even the most obvious hints, so just in case, here is a classic one. What's your type of girls? She'll say it casually, and when you answer matches her appearance, she might go full frontal. So what do you like about me, specifically? That's basically an open invitation to put her on your magic pogo stick, take her for a ride on your hairy Porsche. You get the idea. You can come up with your own twisted fantasies, I believe in you. TikTok therapist girls usually ask stuff like, what are your red flags in relationships? That kind of zoomer crap. And today's trendy psych lingo creates more complex questions meant to build connection, like normal questions, but really they're deeply personal, designed to reveal you, make you vulnerable, which makes you open up to the one asking. Stuff like, what do you dream about? Do you love your job? Simple questions, but no one can answer them in one sentence. They tap into core interests, so people reply in detail with enthusiasm and then builds connection. Of course, some weirders go too far, like asking, have you ever wanted to bang your mom? Anyway, in online chats, it's hard to pinpoint signals of affection. People flirt there what they write before sending, but generally if a girl likes you, she won't say no when you ask her to hang out. Obvious, maybe, but some guys don't get it. There is this type, the so-called unavailable girls, who flirt, sext, play games, do all the things, but will never meet you in real life. If you asked more than twice and she still doesn't go out, that's a signal she's using you, bro. She's only chatting with you because you're paying for her Discord Nitro. Ma was a simp. Also buy me Nitro too and I'll send you feed pics. Not a scam, I swear. There is still tons I want to say about this topic. Maybe if the video gets views, I'll go deeper. More psych, more tricks, we'll dive in. But if the vid flops, why even bother, right? Anyway, smash like, leave a comment. If there are a lot of comments, it'll absolutely change nothing. And vibe to some fun, friends.